Welcome to another tech video. So today we're going to be changing the top half of one of these HP Spectra X360 G2 laptops. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to have a look at the device itself to make sure we know what we're getting. Okay. Okay, so this is nice and clean. Looks good. On the back we've got all of our connectors. We've even got some new speakers included, but we might just change these back out for the original ones just to make sure they work, but everything else seems to be there. We've got our power port adapter included as well, and a headphone jack cable up in the corner here as well, so everything looks like it's on here. So then the first thing we want to do is get into the back of this. Okay, so on the unit itself we've got our screws around the outside. So this is a T5 Torx screwdriver. We're just going to go around and remove all of the screws. I'm just going to lay them out because we've got some long ones on the edges and some short ones in the middle. And in the centre ones, these are small as well, or short I should say. So this is the first time we've done this, so I'm not sure entirely how it's going to go. Okay, so that is our screws all undone. Now we're going to take a prizer tool, just get it in the back here, just under around the hinge. And we're going to lever that round like that to get a finger in, and then that should just easily pop off, which it does. Wow, this thing is almost all battery, so let's have another look at this. Okay, so you can see the size of the battery. It takes up a huge amount of space on here, so we are going to have to remove pretty much everything. So including, so this is a different power brick. So how is that going to work? So let's have a look at the screen top. Oh no, it's the same power lead, that's fine. I was looking at the wrong side. So it is identical, so yeah, we've got to take everything out basically and transfer it all into the top part of this. So first thing we're going to do is we want to disconnect the battery, which connects in over here. So and we're just going to take a little prizer tool and lever that on the outside of the connector to get that unplugged. There we go. So that's the battery disconnected. So I guess the next thing we want to do is to take out the battery itself. So let's have a look to see what we need for that. So I'm just going to use the trusted Phillips screwdriver, and I can see we've got one screw down here for it. And no screw there, but a screw in the centre. It's actually got a broken clip on the battery. Next screw up the top, third one. That connector's good. And then down the bottom here we want to lever up the speaker cable. It runs from the speaker cable up to the connector up here, so we're going to just remove that. It's stuck on top of the battery, so we're going to unstick that, and then again we're going to get a little prizer and we're going to try and get this out. It's being a little bit more stubborn, so we'll use a pair of long nose tweezers just to get in the edge here and give it a gentle pull. That's quite stubborn. There we go. And while we've got that disconnected, we might as well do the other speaker cable. This one's a bit more delicate. This is an unwrapped cable, whereas this one's wrapped. So you do want to be a little bit careful about getting it out. There we go. That one was a bit easier. And then we can remove this final screw over here. Again, on the battery, we've noted that the little connector is loose or broken, and then we can just lift the battery out, exposing a couple of extra wires. So we know about these, they're disconnected. This one needs to disconnect from the main board. This one needs to disconnect from the main board up here. And that's as far as we can see at the moment, and then we've got to take the rest of it out. We can also disconnect this ribbon cable here for the keyboard, and then it's just a matter of disassembling the rest of the components, including we also need to take out the hinges as well. So it's literally everything coming out. So I'm going to take the battery in the case. I'm going to start putting that to one side, collecting all the bits. So let's now go ahead and start disconnecting. So we've got this one here, comes off the main board, so we're going to flick that up, and that should just lift out like that. Next one we've got up here, which is for our trackpad, so we're going to just lift up that as well and remove that. And then again, we've got another one here. This will be for the backlit keyboard. I'm going to remove that one as well. And that, I think, is pretty much it. Okay, so over the top here we've got our connector that goes into the headphone jack. So again, tiny little lift, little flap there, and remove that. That's disconnected. Okay, so we are going to need to disconnect these. So these are the Wi-Fi antennas, so they just pop off like that. You want to be careful when you're putting them back on and make sure you get the right one. So I'm just going to mark that. It actually should tell us on the little device. So we've got one there, and this will be 2. So on the board actually here, we've got a 1 and a 2 marked on that Wi-Fi card. You can just see it there. So that's good that those cables are marked, and we've disconnected those. And what else do we need to disconnect? Okay, looks like we're going to need to disconnect something around the top board here, but we will, that looks like a screen cable to me, so that will be the display adapter. So we're going to need to remove that as well. Lift that up, that cable should just lift up, making sure that we don't damage, there we go, the cable. That's the EDP panel. And then we've got a connector down here by the look of it. So again, we're just going to use a couple of prizer tools just to remove that. That looks like power of some description. Okay. There we go. Alright, I might not have needed to have disconnected that. I'm sure I did, because that's the main power line input that winds in under here. Okay, right, I think that can stay. I think everything else can stay. Don't think we've got any screws under there. Nope. So I think we can now start removing the screws. So let's have a look to see where they are. Can't feel anything under there apart from this little piece of tape. Let's have a look. Okay, so that is actually just covering those ground pins. Alright, let's put that back. So in terms of the main board, as far as I can see, it's this screw here. I presume that screw there. And I think that should be pretty much it. So let's go ahead and see if that's the case. Okay, so we've got one screw out there. I think this one. There. I think that's might be it. Oh, we've got to disconnect this, haven't we? So this looks like we've got a little rubber cover on top of that. So we're going to peel that off. We're going to keep that because that's going to go back on. Then we're going to lift up our keyboard flap, remove that. So how are we doing for main board? Okay, so it looks like something's holding us in here. It looked like it, probably the fan screws. So let's try removing that. Don't think it is, but you never know. Let's get this tape peeled up from here. Okay, possibly this screw here. That's the fan. Feels like it shouldn't need to come out though. Let's have a look. Yes, it does. Okay, so the fan needs to come out as well. But I'm going to keep that attached. Let's see. That is now the whole of the main board out. That's amazing. Put that to one side. Okay. In actual fact, so what else do we need to take off now? So now we've got to remove the hinges. And I think that is pretty much it. So, hinges are a Phillips screwdriver. Two screws from each side, 1, 2. And again on this side. This has been relatively easy so far, I have to admit. So now I presume we need to just prise these hinges up a smidge, just a bit. Okay. So let's get our hinges lifted up. I think we need to, at this point, open this. I'll try and open it like that. Okay, so from what I can see, is we need to open it all the way up, and then, okay, maybe it needs to twist all the way around. Yes, it does. So we need to twist it all the way around, I believe, to be able to release the cover. There we go, right. Okay, like that. So that's the cover off. All right. So this is the old cover. Let's get rid of that so we don't get confused. Okay. Let me take the screen. All right. So now it looks like it's just the exact reverse. So I'm going to get the screen back on first. Okay, so that's the hinges put on. Next, we're going to get the main board back in. Okay, so that then all goes in somehow like this. Okay, and let's get this board back in properly. That's it. Oh, fiddly. Okay. That looks good. Is it all in there correctly? Perfect. Okay. Right, that's that bit done. Now we need to get the screws back in. First screw in. We've got another screw up the top, haven't we, and then a fan screw. So let's get the fan screws in. Just here. And So now we need to get the power cable in. I'm sure there was an easier way of doing this, but there we go. That's power in. Now we need to get LCD panel in. There we go. That's that in. That needs to be underneath there. There we go. Next we've got our two Wi-Fi aerials and making sure that we've got the right ones going in the right places. So this is 2. Get that just showing over the top of the connector, and it should just bite in if it's in the right place. Okay. There we go. No. That's it. Okay, so that's the Wi-Fi reconnected. And now we've got our little audio jack. Okay. That's it. That's that one connected. Now we've got our little mouse or trackpad. Come on. Can't get the little flap up. Okay, well, just have to do it like this. Proper shaky stuff, this. Okay, there we go. That is in. Now this one, keyboard ribbon. Okay, is that in? No. There we go. That is in. Now we've got the backlight. Goes in there, like that. Looking good so far. Now we've got our speaker connector. So let's go and route that under there. Plug that into that one. Okay, like that. That should be just around there like that. Now we can connect this one into this slot. There we go. And that should route around there. Now, this was over here, that's right. That's that back on. Okay, I think that is pretty much it, apart from the battery. So let's get the battery back in. Let's see if this works. Battery back in. Okay, let's secure the battery first of all. And there was one screw down here. There was one screw over here. One screw definitely up there. And okay, and then we can reconnect the battery. Like that. That should be it. Let's get the cover on loosely for now. Turn it over. Plug in some power. Let's check. We get a light come on. Yes. Charging. Backlit works. Open it up if we can. Okay. Moment of truth. Where's the power button? Okay. CMOS reset. Reboot. Enter to reboot the system. Okay, hit the power. Backlit display comes on. Display comes on here. All good. Awesome. So that's all working correctly, which is always nice to see after doing something like that. So we'll shut that down. Unplug that, and we can now add the screws. Remembering where they were, so the long screws go in each of the rear corners, and it's a T5. Like that. Let's get the back sorted out first, I think. Okay, no, that seems to be it. And there we go, that's all there was to it. So yeah, relatively straightforward in terms of panel changing. First time we've done it, so well pleased with that. So if you found that video useful, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and just want to say thanks for watching, and we'll probably see you in the next one.